Hey everyone, and welcome back to another consignment update. Although the consignment deadline has shut for the December sale, but nonetheless we're calling it a consignment update because that's what we call them. Things have been a bit all over the place with YouTube recently, so we do apologise for that. Firstly, CJ got married, congratulations for that, so he was off for a while, and I was on holiday for a bit, and then it just got really busy. So we haven't really had time to do much. But we're going to try and bring you up to date with the things that we have in the sale so we can try and show you as much as possible. So we're going to have a kind of usual in the rack video today, showing you a few bits. And then next week we'll probably show you more in the sale room, because as you can see, the racks are emptying, which can only mean one thing, that we are starting to lay things out downstairs. So it is a bit of a tip at the moment while we shift things from upstairs to downstairs, yeah, by the time you next see us, we should be all ready to go, all set up. Bit of a task, lots of steps getting our 10,000 steps in, but I'm not going to waffle on too much, so just a few quick things to say. Auction 2nd to the 5th of December, so we're not long away now. We're essentially, from this video being published, 2 weekends away. So 2nd is the first day with all the guitars, artists associated guitars. Then we've got amps, pedals and things, and antique and classical guitar, studio and audio equipment on the consecutive days. Auctions.gardinerhoulgate.co.uk is the best website to go to view the lots now that the previews are over. So go to that website if you want to have a look, if you want to register, if you want to bid. Please ask for your condition reports. And of course, we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year for our YouTube channel. It would be amazing if you could hit that subscribe button, even if you don't really like us that much, just do it anyway. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the bell icon, because it can only be a good thing if you like these videos, because you'll be able to see when we upload these in future. And of course, sign up to our mailing list, Instagram, Facebook, everything's there, and you can keep up to date with what is going on in the world of guitar auctions at Gardiner Houlgate. So, auction 2nd to the 5th of December, let's take a look. So in here we have lot number 314. If you check and refer to your catalogues, and this is a 2020 35th anniversary Paul Reed Smith, custom 24. There we go. 35th anniversary on the truss rod. Charcoal finished figured maple top, and it looks like a 10 top, not that it's got the designation on the head, but I'm sure they would have used fine woods for the anniversary model. But there it is, extra switching there, and yeah, good condition with his original case. So in here we have a rather splendid Martin custom shop. This is a Westside Sinker Mahogany limited edition. Now, the Westside series of Martins, they were essentially made for the UK market through Westside distribution, and this one is a very high-end one, being a custom shop version. They did sort of production run versions as well through the Westside custom series. So like we say, we've got the Sinker Mahogany back and sides, the natural spruce top, and the mahogany neck, as you'd expect. Ebony board, comes with a deluxe case, and it's a very, very nice guitar indeed. So in here we have a Strat from the mid-80s. I think it does scream the 80s. The contemporary series that was very much aimed for the shredder market or heavier rock playing. And this, like I said, in 1985, always come with his black headstocks. This is in the burgundy mist metallic finish, which I think is a cool finish. Comes with the system trem. Is that system 1 or 2? I'd have to actually look to remind myself. Comes with the coil switching for the humbucker. Now, the thing to be aware of with this guitar is it is missing its locking nut. Now, these are very, very difficult to source, and I mean, you probably would get one eventually, but you'd have to wait a long time. But the owner has done the right thing and put some locking tuners on, so it's a bit more stable with the trem. They are shallows. You can see the empty doweled holes. One thing that I find quite cool about these guitars is this trem arm if you unscrew the end here, there's the little adjustment tool for your micro adjustments, which I think is pretty rad. Let us know in the comments. Anyway, comes with a decent case as well. Estimate wise, £400 to £600. Pretty cool for a Japanese made Strat. So in here we have a wannabe Fender, going from a Fender Strat to a not Fender Telecaster. So this is the Ibanez 2352 CT, which obviously refers to custom Telecaster, having the wide range humbucker and the standard single coil in the bridge position. So obviously a copy of the 70s guitar with the humbucker to the neck. This is from 1977, as the serial number tells us, made in Japan. It's a lawsuit era, and comes with a certainly period case, and even comes with an ashtray cover. So there we go, 1977 Ibanez custom Telecaster copy. From 1962 we have this Harmony H75, and we've got a few of these in this sale actually, different variations. Always very popular. They've risen in value quite a lot recently. It wasn't that long ago we were getting 600 to 800 hammer for them. And now you're looking at 4 figures roughly for decent ones, 1,000 to 1,500 at least anyway. This one does have a replacement trem. I believe this is a Burns trem, of all things. And yes it is, it says so on the arm. There we go. So the arm is there as well, in case you were panicking. Comes with a period semi-rigid fiberboard case, and it's in not bad nick. You might recognise this guitar from a previous video. It's back again. Hiroshi Kido made copies of famous guitars, a well-regarded luthier in Japan, and this is a copy of the Rocky Stratocaster. So there we go, comes with its original Kids, that's the name he went under, gig bag, plush line gig bag, and yeah, we've had a few of these in the past, always very well made. And if you always wanted a Rocky Strat, there we go. And in here we have a 1990 Gibson 335 ES-335 Dot neck in the natural finish, really highly figured. Again, this is another guitar that we have sold. The chap who bought it of us is putting it back in. He's sort of downsizing his collection. Bought from us quite a few years ago now, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Can't quite remember. But anyway, there it is. It's back and it's in stunning condition as it was when it left us. Comes with its original case, and we do have a lot of good opportunities to get 335 guitars in this cell. We've actually got a Dot neck 61, which is in player's grade condition, refinished, and a neck repair. That is in the last video, so do go and check that out. I believe the highlighted piece of that video was that the Jeff Beck one that we did. Jeff Beck, if you can find the Jeff Beck thumbnail, you'll find that video with lots of cool vintage pieces, including that 61 Dot neck. But here is a 1990 reissue in good, clean, original condition. In here we have an MSG Deluxe from 1999. Martin Booth designed these. Very well regarded, now makes guitars under his own name. Very high-end guitars. But this was a design of his. This is in fantastic condition. You probably won't find one much better, to be honest with you. Comes with its original case and tag. Lovely thing. So here's a limited run Fender Stratocaster. This is the Blackout Stratocaster. You see a limited run where they made everything black. It's an ebony board. Obviously black finished body. Guard, all the plastics. Could have gone for black hardware as well, couldn't they? Or black chromeware. Just to go full on. But it's got this kind of flake, metallic flake finish as well. Really cool looking guitar. It's actually a very, very good guitar. Like I say, limited edition. As you can see, it hasn't been used. Still got all its tags in place. And that is from 2014. Another cool thing. And this is another you might recognise, but it isn't actually the same one. We did sell one maybe last year. This is the Transport for London Night Tube Strat, and so this is the rarest of the series. There were 15 of these made, and of course they had the underground map, which was the most common, and then they had the Routemaster Bus one, which kind of sits between in terms of rarity. So this is actually being sold by the same person that we sold the last one for. He ended up with 2 of them. It's unused, still comes in its original shipping box, got all its case and tags and papers, and it's a really cool thing. We always get lots of interest in these because they are rare, and yeah, quite iconic artwork as well. I really like them. This is my favourite of the lot. I just love the design of them. So there we go. If you're after a Night Tube Strat and missed out on the last one, here's an opportunity. So in here we have a 1979 Fender Precision Bass. And I'm pretty sure, if I just have a look at the documents, there's a single owner from new. I'm just going to see. Well, it was actually purchased by the vendor. That's his name on the receipt in 1981. But it is from 79 according to all the parts. And in the black finish, but what you will see, this is actually a common flaw that I'm going to show you just out of interest. This is a common flaw with the finish of this era guitar. They do flake like this, and it brings out this blue hue. So you do find this a lot with the black finished Fenders from this period. I had a Strat that had gone completely blue and was flaking all over. It's sometimes really tempting for CJ to pick at it. He hasn't. I will add, he hasn't done it on this one because he's still got a job. So yeah, 79 Precision Bass. It's in original condition. Obviously, there is that finish flaw, but if you want a decent instrument, then there you go. Comes in a non-original case, but does come with all its tags and papers and receipt. Have a Gibson for you, Gibson SG. We've got loads of really good SGs. I think we've got something for everyone in the SG category, all budgets and all vintages. But we have a 2021 SG Special. So we've got the 2 P90 pickups, black finish, original case, and it's basically in, well, near excellent condition. Might be an odd mark or 2 on there. Not got my glasses on, but there we go. 2021 Gibson SG Special. Right, so in here we have an acoustic, a very nice acoustic, one of my favourite brands or makers, and Santa Cruz. Maybe I'm just attracted to things called Santa Cruz. That's Santa Claus, maybe. Santa Cruz skateboards, the Santa Cruz skateboard brand in general. That's certainly what I skate or did when I was younger. Maybe I do still a little bit now, but there we go. And the place as well. I do like the place. I went there years and years ago. But this is a OM from 1999. Fantastic condition. As you can see, got the herringbone inlay around the edge of the spruce top. Rosewood back and sides. Really high quality grain as well, or woods. And there we go. I don't think these need much introduction. I think it's a safe bet getting one of these if you're after that sort of Martin OM style thing, but don't want to go down the Martin route. Comes with its original case. So in here we have a Rickenbacker bass. This is a 4003 from year
2017.
2017. There we go. Maple glow finish, original case, great condition. What's not to like? And here another Fender. This is a 2022 American Vintage 2 77 reissue. They've even got the weight correct. It's quite a weighty thing. So yeah, it's a 77 reissue. Obviously the custom Telecaster with the wide range humbucker pickup. So if you think of that Ibanez we saw not long ago, that is what that guitar is copying, essentially. A late 70s custom Telecaster, and it's in great condition, original case. Nice thing. A reissue of the 70s custom Telecaster. This is the Bigsby version. This is a Mexican made one, as you can see, from 2018. And sometimes feel like I run out of things to say about these guitars because I'm showing you them because they're nice. So I'm going to say it again, nice guitar. And another limited run guitar, and this is quite interesting because it's a Tele with a trem. So you've got the Strat type trem, 2 wide range pickups, you've got the big 70s headstock as well, so you've got the Strat head. It's basically a mixture of Strat and Tele going on. How cool is that? Telecaster Deluxe. And yeah, Japanese made this one. It's got quite a bit of a bigger neck as well, from 2021. Cool thing. So in here we have a guitar from, some would say, a controversial year, with a spec change with this quite wide neck. I know so many people that love it. I just don't get on with it, and I've said that many times before. 2015 Les Paul Deluxe, comes with the Les Paul hologram on the back. There we go. As it was a kind of an anniversary thing, wasn't it, with the Les Paul 100 headstock. Typical finish floor in all the Gibsons around this time. You tend to get this checking through the controls. Obviously moisture gets in somewhere, but you pretty much see that on every single one of them from around this time. Other than that, pretty good condition. It's had an upgraded nut. It's got this tusk nut, and the robot tuners have been pulled off. Got hip shot tuners now, but all the original parts are included. Similar case, similar period, again with the wider neck. This has also had the tusk nut upgrade, hip shot tuners. The robot tuners are included. And this is of course a Les Paul Junior TV yellow finish. There is a bit of checking, there's a big blemish on the front, so it should keep the price down a little. I'd still expect us to get at least 5-6 hammer for it though. Another cool guitar. And in here we have a slightly earlier Gibson. This is from 2006. And I think that's a good solid year for Gibson, or years spanning the very early 2000s up to around 2006, 2007. 2002 always hits the sweet spot for me with Gibsons. Just seems every single one I see of that year seem to be very good. I don't know why. Good wood period, I guess. But this is from 2006. Nice clean example. It's got this washed out figured top, and comes with its original case. Similar period, but from Fender this time. This is a 2005 American Deluxe. This is actually known as the V profile, specifically because it has a V profile neck. It's very much been made to look like Gilmore's Strat, with the black guard, and there is the original anodized type. It's not an anodized guard, it's plastic, but it's got that anodized look. And that has been included. But 2005 American Deluxe V profile Stratocaster, and in here we have an American Deluxe again. This is more of a standard with the C, sort of modern C profile. American Deluxe, and so it's got the S1 switching like the last one. This has also had a guard change. The original guard is there, all the tags, original case, sunburst finish, but in excellent condition throughout. If you like your satin finish guitars and you want a 335 in a satin finish, there we go, 2006. This is the ES-335 Gibson Memphis in the satin cherry finish. Satin throughout, lovely condition with its original case. And another 335, I did say we had a lot of them. Another dot neck. This is a 59 reissue, so this is a Fender custom shop, and again in fantastic condition. Has a more of a plainer top, this one, but some people prefer that. I almost like a mix of the two. In the natural finishes though, saying that, I don't really have much of a preference. As you can see, custom shop. Comes with all its bits and bobs. There we go, warranty papers, certificate of authenticity. Another great 335 in good condition. Rare Fender custom shop. This is one we may have already done, so apologies if you've already seen it in a consignment update. But if you are new to the channel, then it won't matter, of course.
Guitar so nice we showed it twice.
Absolutely. So this is, of course, a Waylon Jennings signature. The classic look of his guitar with the, this is sort of inset tooled leather. It's got the 12th fret logo there, and of course we have the banjo tuner on the back, on the Larrivee. It's in okay condition. There's a bit of buckle marks to the back, But other than that, it's pretty good. Original case, comes with its certificate as well, which is in the case. There we go, 1997 Waylon Jennings Telecaster, and yeah, John Page signed certificate of authenticity, and of course comes with its original tooled strap as well. Cool thing. So in here we have a 2020 Larrivee OM9. Another great option for acoustic guitars. That if your budget is, I guess, towards the top of the mid-range, so 1,000 to 1,500, hammer price at auction, you're going to get a really good guitar for the money. But there we go, American made, origins in Canada, of course. But yeah, Larrivee OM guitar from 2020. So if you're a bit bored of looking at 335s in the semi-hollow body category, we have a 345, and this is a Gibson historic, custom historic 64 reissue. But the one thing you will spot is there's no rotary, so it's a non-rotary 345. So I guess the biggest thing that gives 345 appearances is the split position markers on the board. But there we go. Cool guitar, great condition, and a variation if you're not after a Dot 335. And here we have Double Trouble. 2017 Fender George Harrison Rosewood Telecaster. This is from the original run of the reissues they did. Comes in this nice satin finish, and this is basically in unplayed condition, still has its film on the guard. Comes in with its original case and all the papers. There we go. I think they made around 1,000 of them, so they were a limited run. And if you don't want that one, I said Double Trouble, we have another. Same year, same batch. Really, it is in as good condition, albeit it doesn't have its film on there. But these were actually consigned by husband and wife. And the wife, huge George Harrison fan and guitarist, so she wanted to get one of the Rosewood George Harrison Telecasters when they came out. And while they were in the shop, the husband wanted one too, so they got his and hers. So 2017 George Harrison Rosewood Telecasters, and that explains the story why we've got two in the same sale in very similar condition. I wonder what's in this case. It's another Gibson SG. This one's from 1973. It has been refinished. We're actually not really sure what's going on here. It doesn't look like there's any breaks, but there seems to be some chipping around there. But there is things going on in the neck pocket. It has been off at some point, as you can see. This has been refinished. The serial number's gone. We've dated it from the pot, so 1973. Replaced controls. But basically, if you want an early 70s Gibson SG that's going to come in at player's grade money, very keenly priced, then that might be the one for you. Bit of a resto project, but still a cool early 70s Gibson. So in here we have what says on the case, 1959 Guyatone LG-50. In incredible condition with the original case. Now, I think you would be hard pushed to find one in much better condition than this. Rolling Stones, they were known for using this model in the early part of their adventure into rock and roll. But LG-50 model made in Japan, really cool, small, quirky Japanese-made guitar with its original case. Nice thing. It's from the late 30s. This comes in its original case as well, with its sheath or cover. Is this Aristone. Now these were made by J G Abbott, who was very, very well known or well regarded British luthier. So British made archtop guitar in fantastic condition. Rather high end, and yeah, the craftsmanship is incredible, like most Abbott guitars are. And we've even got this diamond rhythm sheath pickup, which we have the original box for. You're not going to find many with the original box. So this was consigned from a meticulous collector. and most of the guitars you see of his are rather splendid. The Guyatone was his, and in the last video we showed a Harmony Meteor, which is actually just sat in that case behind me, open, I think, just down there. So that was the same chaps as well. So again, in fantastic condition, and it was the original owner, certainly, of the Meteor. But there we go, a 1938, roughly, Abbott-made archtop guitar. So in here, another really good period for Gibson. I mean, to be honest with you, I said early 2000s, but right throughout the 90s, they were all good in general. I mean, obviously, there will be some hit and miss somewhere, but 1993 Gibson Les Paul Standard in this very bright cherry sunburst finish, plain maple top, but it's in incredible condition. Comes with its original case, so you're after a 90s Les Paul Standard and you want one as good as you're going to get, this won't be far off of it. So from traditional to slightly less traditional, or non-traditional, is this Abasi Concepts. This is the ME Legion 6. You will have seen we had that Beliga guitar, the Anomaly, in a previous video, and this is a very similar idea. But Tobin Abasi, very skilled guitarist. Animals as Leaders is his band, and I do listen to them quite a lot. Incredible musicians, really are. Sort of on the heavier side of things, but yeah, he's got his own guitar brand. These were all made in South Korea, but there is not a UK distributor of these, so they can be tricky to get over here. I mean, you will find used ones, but you've got the Fishman Fluence pickups. You've got this burl, trans black burl top, really nice satin feeling, fast neck. Yeah, original gig bag, and as you can see, it's not really been used. I think, yeah, it's 2024, and the vendor said he's basically not used it at all, just didn't get on with it. But he is more into sort of more traditional guitars anyway, just thought he'd give it a go. But there we go, really cool concept guitar from Abasi. Just in case you have, any of you have some interest in synths, we have this incredibly rare EMS Synthi A synthesizer. These were made in the 70s, and I think they're well known for, I guess if you think the sci-fi noises that you hear in Doctor Who, that kind of thing, this is what creates them. Now, the Synthi A model, and then there's the slightly more desirable AKS model, which is the one with the keyboard. We actually sold one about this time last year as part of the Ultravox Cross collection. Now the AKS model, that was well known for, well, the Dark Side of the Moon. David Gilmour used one of those on Dark Side of the Moon, which kind of popularised them almost. But this was owned by a chap called Poli, or John Palmer. So Poli Palmer was a member of the band Family, and an instrumentalist, played the flute, played the vibes, sort of more a percussionist, I guess, really. But yeah, he sort of featured on many records. John Martin was another artist he worked closely with. But yeah, this is a rare synth that he used, and he was sort of very well known for using things like synths with other instruments like his vibes, and yeah, almost a pioneer of that kind of thing. So well known for that within his various projects, but a really cool thing, a rare thing with artist provenance, but yeah, a rare piece of synth history nonetheless. And something like that may bring up towards £10,000 at auction these days. I have an important announcement to make. So after looking at the Synthi from Poli's collection, you can see Poli Palmer's collection up on the website. This is probably the other highlight piece from that collection. Now this is a Musa, made by Musa. It was the percussion division of Ludwig Drum Company, and these are, as you can see, Musa Pro Vibes. Now, very high-end piece of kit. In their own right at auction, these are worth somewhere between £3,000 and £5,000 anyway. But these were used by Poli Palmer throughout his career. One big significant piece of provenance is that he actually got them from John Bonham of Led Zeppelin. Now, these were given to John Bonham by Ludwig, just because I guess Ludwig would have been throwing quite a lot at him, all part of artist endorsements. Basically, John Bonham never really worked out how to use them properly, and he was very good friends with Poli Palmer, and they used to see each other quite a lot at the Speakeasy, a venue in London that they both used to play a lot, and they used to drink in a lot together. And they came up in conversation, and John Bonham basically turned around and said, well, I'm never going to learn how to play them, so you may as well have them. And they turned up at Poli's house one day, and they've been with him ever since. So, like I said, really high-end piece of kit, still in great working condition, comes with all its cases and things. Yeah. Cool piece of history, Led Zeppelin connection, as well with the Poli Palmer, and just a quality instrument. Don't they just look great as well? So in here we have something pretty special that most of you will have already seen from social media, or of course the online catalogue, guitarauctions.com, auctions.gardinerhoulgate.co.uk. But we have a Buzzard bass, which are, of course, very closely linked to John Entwistle, being that he collaborated with Warwick to make the instrument for him. Now, this is quite a special guitar, and I'll basically go through the history of how it came from being, I guess, with John Entwistle right through to today and what we know. So, this is a prototype bass guitar made in 1986. It's prototype number 5, as the serial number on the very tip of the head tells us. And there you can see it in all its glory. So John Entwistle collaborated with Warwick to design these basses for him. And this is what came out as prototype number 5. Now, John Entwistle passes away, as we all know, no longer with us. And then we have an auction of his estate in 2003, which was held by Sotheby's. There we go, there's the auction catalogue, 13th of May 2003. And if I flick my way through, and you can see there's another Buzzard bass that was in the auction, but lots of really, really cool basses. This is actually a very fascinating catalogue to see some of these guitars and what they sold for. And at not bad money either in some ways. There's actually a 59 Explorer in here that sold for under 100,000, I think, which is just, it's almost unbelievable to say, or to think. There we go, there's a Fender Precision in Fiesta Red, but really is a fascinating catalogue. I will eventually get to where we need to be. Yeah, there you go. In fact, 58 Flying V, 38,000. Unbelievable. Anyway, featured in this sale, that's a familiar guitar. That's a guitar that we actually offered in a previous auction. And anyway, we need to get to this Buzzard, don't we? There it is. So it was lot number 265, and it was catalogued just as a Warwick Buzzard bass guitar with EMG pickups. So there's no mention of it being a prototype. I don't know whether Sotheby's knew or how much went into it, really. Obviously, John wasn't around to tell the tale, but there it is. That is the guitar. Now, we know it is definitely the same guitar because we have all the receipts from the sale itself with the lot numbers. So, original auction receipts, lot numbers, and things like that. Now the guitar eventually made its way over to the United States. It was a US buyer who bought it from the auction, and it made its way over to the US in its original flight case. I'm just going to point this out because there is a rather cool Buzzard t-shirt as well, or Buzzard long-sleeved shirt. There we go. Anvil shirt. So anyway, the bass goes to America and then it surfaces this year and is purchased as a Warwick Buzzard bass, ex John Entwistle, and we value it on that basis at around 10,000 now. Now in the Sotheby's auction, this sold for it's £3,500, which back then was probably about right for an artist linked instrument. We've got to think that bass guitars don't always have the same cachet as guitars, but still owned by a legend, one of the most influential bassists of all time. So anyway, 10,000 roughly is what I would probably expect this to sell for, 10 to 15,000 being a John Entwistle bass. However, it came to light very recently that the bass was also used by John Deacon of Queen. Now, under John Entwistle's ownership, there was no images of him actually playing this bass, although there were some images of this bass with sat at the bar at his home, and this bass does also appear in his bass culture book. But with John Deacon in particular, with Queen, he is seen using this bass on the 1986 Friends Will Be Friends video for their single, their top 20 single, that was off the album A Kind of Magic. And he also used this bass guitar at the Live at Montreux in 1986. And the reason we know that is because there is a very distinct grain match. If you check out some stills from the video from the Montreux Pop Festival, you can see this grain here. It's basically all of these grain marks around here are identical. Now, it was known that John Entwistle did lend a Buzzard bass to John Deacon, and then when this one recently surfaced, it was discovered that it was the one. So really, really cool that this was used by John Deacon as well. I'm a massive Queen fan. This is actually a birth year guitar for me, 1986. Meant to be, maybe. Don't think my budget can quite reach that, unfortunately. But I mean, 1986 for me, I mean, obviously different people have different opinions of the best years for bands, but 1986 for me was a big thing for Queen. I mean, obviously I wasn't really aware of them in that year because I was just born. But Live at Wembley is one concert for me. I had the VHS when I was younger and I used to watch it, and I watched it so much that I ran it out and it wouldn't work anymore. But I used to watch that over and over again every weekend when I was a kid. And between the Beatles and Queen, that's what I was brought up on, but Queen in particular. So for me, this is a really cool thing. Not that this was used at Wembley, but it was used within that period that I most associate with Queen. So going back to Montreux Pop Festival, that in its own right was a fairly significant performance. It was I guess in some ways it was one that Queen reluctantly did, because one of the things you had to do when you were playing at Montreux is you had to mime, which obviously Queen were very much against. We believe it is the only performance. They did play in 1984 and did the same. We believe that the Montreux performances are the only ones where they did actually agree to mime, and the reason they did is because it was such good exposure, because it was such a big thing at the time to play at Montreux Pop. They played 4 songs. John Deacon used this on every single one. It was basically songs off of Kind of Magic. So they did play Friends Will Be Friends, Kind of Magic, and Hammer to Fall was another one they did, I think, and one more. But yeah, significant piece of Queen history. Queen guitars just don't come up that often. Certainly things related to John Deacon. because obviously he sort of became quite reclusive, and I think I do very much respect him for that in some ways. Not to want to keep on going, although I am glad Queen did keep on going, because I got to see Brian May and Roger Taylor of Adam Lambert a few years ago, which was a fantastic experience. But yeah, this is such a cool thing. Two absolute British bass legends of John Entwistle and John Deacon having association to this bass. So John Entwistle owned, John Deacon played, comes in its original flight case, which bears all sorts of tags, including John Entwistle's initials there, JAE. Went through the Sotheby's sale, but really, really cool piece for the next auction. So do check out the catalogue. This is alongside other great guitars owned by Jeff Beck, guitars signed by Paul McCartney, Mark Knopfler, guitars owned by Noel Gallagher, and similar. So do check out that catalogue, and this will surely be one of the highlights of the sale. Estimate 20 to 40,000. So there we go, ladies and gents, finishing on a high note, as we like to do. Probably one of my favourite things to have offered over the years. Sort of been working at 18 years, and that has to be one of the highlights. Obviously it's got to sell yet, but just to be able to offer it, fantastic thing to have in hand, being a huge Queen fan myself. But Queen fans, Who fans, now's your opportunity. And bassists, of course. But 2nd to 5th of December is the auction. Check out the catalogue, auctions.gardinerhoulgate.co.uk. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, hit the bell icon, comment on what you like and what you don't like, and we will come back at you with a few more videos before the auction itself, so do watch this space, and we look forward to seeing you next time.